I just rolled out of bed to do this video. So anyway, welcome to my channel. I'm Cynthia Brando. I'm a singer-songwriter in Los Angeles. And if you're new to my channel, welcome. I'm an indie musician and I post a lot of music videos, but recently I've been doing these Tuesday vlogs. So something happened a few days ago and I thought this is a good opportunity to do a video about how it's affected me. So you may have heard that the Buddhist monk Thich Nhat Hanh passed away at 95 years old. Recently, I think it was a few days ago, maybe 4 days ago. And he was not my personal teacher, but he was someone that I definitely looked to for guidance in my life. And I just wanted to talk a little bit about that because I've been a Buddhist now since about 2009, and it's affected my life in a very positive way. Meditation, belonging to a group that discusses writings, and I do a lot of readings from Buddhist books. And so it's shaped my music a lot too. And it's funny because here in Los Angeles, a lot of people in the music industry, if I present my songs to them, I've gotten this feedback quite a few times. A lot of times it's negative feedback, that my music is too spiritual. Which to me it's like, oh, that's great feedback because that means it's universal, right? But a lot of people say, oh, you know, your songs need to be more specific, it's too broad. And so I just thought that was interesting because my music's changed a lot since studying Buddhism. So Thich Nhat Hanh was a monk that, I mean, he's a very popular monk. There's several people that I follow, you know, you may have heard of like Eckhart Tolle or Pema Chodron. And Thich Nhat Hanh was one of those people that had become famous, not because he wanted to, but just because he's so awesome. And his writings were very universal and his books spoke to a lot of people. And I thought, oh, it'd be cool to do a video showing my Thich Nhat Hanh book collection. So I've got 4 books here that I found in my library. I'm actually missing my favorite book, Cultivating the Mind of Love. I don't know what happened to that book. I've moved about 6 times in Los Angeles in 8 years, so I think my books have gotten, some of them have gotten lost. But I found 4 books. The first book I found was this one called Anger. I'm happy to say that I don't need this book anymore. And so I want to give it away to anyone out there that is looking for a way to cool their anger. I used to have a huge anger problem, and this book helped me a lot, and you know, I don't need it anymore, I'm happy to say. It's called Anger, Wisdom for Cooling the Flames. So the first person to comment and send me a message, I will send you this book for free. Anyway, I'm happy to say I don't need that. Then there's this book, No Death, No Fear, another good book. I think I bought this around the same time that I bought Anger. I think I was obsessed with fear and death and some heavy stuff that I can say that I'm not so obsessed about anymore. But I wanted to talk about how Buddhist writings in general and a lot of Thich Nhat Hanh, his wisdom has helped me as an indie artist. I think it's a real interesting connection. So one of the big things that's helped me with as far as being a musician is the concept in Buddhism that they call praise and blame. And it's this one extreme to the other. And I relate that as a musician, praise and rejection. So as musicians, you're constantly getting praised, and then on the other end of the spectrum, you're getting rejection all the time. And it's really hard to navigate that because our brain scientifically holds on to negative experiences more than positive ones. So you can get praise, 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 praise. Oh, people love my music. They're contacting me and giving me, you know, wonderful comments about my songs and how much they mean to them. That happens to me on a daily basis, and it's so wonderful. And yet there'll be one person, you know, that puts a comment on my YouTube or whatever, in person says something some sort of criticism. So you have these like two extremes. A lot of times when I read a passage in Buddhism that talks about this praise and blame thing, it really helps me to understand that I need to focus on the positive experiences in my life and in my music life, because the indie music life is really difficult. There's a ton of rejection, and that could really get to you, and a lot of times it has gotten to me. And so one of the reasons why I love Buddhist books is because you don't have to, it's not like a novel, you don't have to read the whole thing. And as a musician with a day job also, and then life stuff, I'm constantly busy. And I don't really have time to read a lot of novels, though I've been trying to read more lately. But I just love Buddhist books because you can just turn to any page and you're going to find something. So I'll just turn to a random page. We worry because we think that after we die, we will not be a human being anymore. We will go back to being a speck of dust. We think we will be somehow diminished. That's it. I just read the first line of this chapter in a Thich Nhat Hanh book. And I love it because I'll take this to work with me and I'll just read that passage and I'll just think about it all day. And so I love that. So I did earmark a couple passages in these books that particularly spoke to me. So I earmarked this chapter called Freedom. There's two books that I have on the sutras, and the sutras are the words that Buddha said to his disciples. These are commentaries from Thich Nhat Hanh to help you understand what he said. So, because some of it's, it's pretty obscure. So this book talks a lot about impermanence, and basically it's just him saying that the world and everything around us is impermanent. And I have to keep reminding myself of that things do change. It's like sometimes I feel like I'm getting stuck creatively, or things aren't happening fast enough. For myself, through meditation, it's just helped me realize that there's a flow to life, that, things happen that aren't necessarily good, but then it doesn't stay that way. Then things happen that are really positive, and that changes. And so with music, it's just so up and down. And a lot of times that I think about opportunities that I may have missed. And sometimes in the past, I would think that, okay, that opportunity is gone forever, or I ruined an opportunity or whatnot. And so what I realize is that it's just constantly changing, and that there's an abundance of opportunities all the time that are waiting for you out there. And so what's helped me is knowing that there's an abundance of opportunities that are always available to me, and they never go away. I used to think, okay, I missed that opportunity, so I'm never going to get it again. But then something new comes along, and it's all related to impermanence, and just what I've read about it. It's just kind of a comfort to know that things are changing that way, that I don't have to feel stuck in my current state of being, which sometimes can be unpleasant. Let's just say that. So one of my favorite passages from this book, No Death, No Fear, is only a free person can be a happy person. The amount of happiness that you have depends on the amount of freedom that you have in your heart. Freedom here is not political freedom. Freedom here is freedom from regret, freedom from fear, from anxiety and sorrow. I have arrived. I am home in the here, in the now. I just love that. So like I said, I read something like that. It's just a great way to start your day, right? If you could just remember that things in life are going to change. I used to have this fear that my creativity was going to run out because I'm not a prolific songwriter per se. But honestly, I can write whenever I want to write. And mostly it's just fear that holds me back, thinking that it's not perfect, or this is not a good thing to write about. And so I think a lot of times I hold myself back out of these fears, when really there's just an abundance of creativity and life all around you all the time. So reading these books by Thich Nhat Hanh have really helped me a lot, not just in my life, but just in music too. And I'm not trying to push Buddhism at all. One of the things I really love about Buddhism is that Buddhism accepts all religions into it. So if you're Jewish or you're Christian, you can still come to a satsang and meditate with Buddhists, or just pray or do your own thing. And so that's one of the things that I really like about it. So I wanted to share a funny story about when I actually saw Thich Nhat Hanh. I put this on my personal Facebook page when he died. It's just a funny little story. It's another one of my non-stories, like I posted last Tuesday about Peter Bogdanovich. But if you haven't seen that video, there's a funny non-story about when I saw Peter Bogdanovich. But anyway, Thich Nhat Hanh, so I wanted to see him for years, and I finally got a ticket, and it was the day when I was moving to Los Angeles from Northern California. This was in late 2013. So I had my plan was that I was going to stop in San Francisco, which was the halfway point, about 6 hours from my old home, to Los Angeles. I'm going to stop in San Francisco, I'm going to stay at a hotel, and I'm going to go see Thich Nhat Hanh. And then the next day I'm going to go to Los Angeles, where I'm going to start my new life. I thought, this is perfect. So I got my ticket, and I've got, of course, the night before, I'm doing a lot of last minute packing, and I'm packing my Jeep. I have a cat, you know, a lot of loose ends that you got to tie up when you're leaving a place that you've lived for 8 years and you're moving to a new place. It was stressful. So I pack everything up, and I'm on my way to San Francisco. I had driven, you know, a good 6 hours. I get to my hotel, I eat some food, and I make my way to the theater where Thich Nhat Hanh is speaking. So I go into the theater, and there's these nice cushy theater seats, and I settle in, and Thich Nhat Hanh comes out, and he's just emanating peace and gentleness, and I finally get to hear his voice in person. He's got a very unique, soothing voice that is quintessential to him. I heard that voice, I was asleep within 15 seconds, I think. And I stayed asleep the whole entire talk, and I woke up at the end. And then the next day, I went to Los Angeles, where I live now. That's my funny Thich Nhat Hanh story. But anyway, like I was saying before, a lot of these Buddhist teachings have permeated my music. So much so that people will point that out to me. So I did want to share a song that I don't have out on the internet, but I wanted to share it with you, and the lyrics. This is a song that a lot of people say, oh, this is has a lot of Buddhist themes in it. It's called Butterfly. I wrote this song after I saw a documentary on monarch butterflies. Now, this song was out on the internet in an EP, but I've since taken down the EP. It was something I did a few years ago, and recently I started to take music down off the internet that I don't think was exactly ready yet. I've just been trying to improve my music, and so I just feel like in the last couple years I've improved a lot. And so I was looking at some of the music that I had out when I first moved to LA and I put out there, and I was thinking, this needs some work still. So Butterfly was one of those songs, but I still really like it. I wanted to share it with you, but before I leave, I just want to say thanks for checking out this video, and if you like it, give it a thumbs up. And if you want to subscribe to my channel, you just click on the subscribe button. And then if you want notifications when I post a video, you can click the bell. And enjoy this song, Butterfly, and I'll see you next time.
It's your mind that goes crazy. You laugh and cry, you ask why things are the way that they are. Your heart has wings like the butterfly, light as sky, taking your flight when it's right. You feel around in the dark, these four walls, around and around. You thought you were safe and sound inside, and you are. Your hands are as warm as your heart, and you're as light as the wings of a butterfly. monarch seeks the bitterness, it loves the taste that helps it along to its path. Your life has sustained on emptiness, helplessness, but you're too scared to admit. But what do you know? You're moving, flying high with the sun. But when you come down, don't lose your ground. Stick around, feel around, feel around, feel around. Feel around in the dark, these four walls, around and around. You thought you were safe and sound inside, and you are. Your hands are as warm as your heart, and you're as light as the wings of a butterfly.